but reality they do not. There's still good information in the report about how different ground covers are better for recharge, and that you have to look at impervious surface when looking at recharge, but this water study is flawed. I hope some of the questions will be cleared up with the Timmons Group report. The Timmons Group presents their water study, but for now I can't support the USPS study for minimum lot size. Thank you.
There's 2 seats here in the front row. If someone would like to come, I'm not sure if there's some other seats or if we can get some more chairs. John Wendleton.
I'll probably take about 30 seconds. Maybe someone can answer this later on, but on a contract, I'll just read what it says here. In the agreement, it says, an agreement shall automatically be renewed on its anniversary date for a 2-year term unless notice is given at least 60 days before the expiration. And what I'm referring to, the no Scott's contract is at that point, and I guess my question is, if there is no discussion or anything regarding it, is it automatically renewed because the 60 days will be passed? That's my question. I don't have to answer it now. I thought I'd bring it up.
Yeah, because we'll have the time for Gary Brown.
Gary Brown, 5249 Blue Court. Good evening, Madam Mayor, Town Council, staff, and Summerfield citizens. I would like to offer some observations and thoughts based upon personal experience as an active community volunteer, member of the first elected Summerfield Town Council, and a concerned citizen resident for the past 24 years. The population of Summerfield has nearly doubled since incorporation in 1996. It's currently at about 11,400 with just over 8,000 registered voters. Unfortunately, only a little over 1/4 of those registered even voted last time. The results of that vote were split pretty much down the middle, which means that the mandate for our newly elected officials came from less than 14% of registered voters and less than 10% of the Summerfield population. Although margins were very slim, governance is by rule of the majority in our constitutional republic and democracy. I support that, and I support you. It is incumbent upon all citizens in Summerfield to once again come together in common purpose to support all of our elected officials with a genuine desire that they all succeed individually and collectively. Only then can we all be winners and achieve the objectives of our community as determined by majority rule to ensure continuing quality of life. At the same time, it is important to remember your responsibility as an elected official requires you to subordinate personal opinions and agendas in favor of supporting the understanding of the visions, plans, and objectives of the community at large. You cannot be influenced by only those in the town that may have voted for you, but must represent the entire population of the community in all matters that come before you in a respectful and thoughtful manner. It is obvious to our community, and I guess to the whole world now, that we've gotten off to a bit of a rocky start this year. That is very fixable, but we need to make a concerted and united effort to make that happen. It's clearly not helpful to display a negative attitude of, no, 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 we can't do that, versus yes, 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 we can. Unfortunately, a bell once rung cannot be unrung, but we can modify our approach to respectfully addressing differing opinions and coming to consensus on the path forward. Let's identify the problems and challenges, address them in a positive, constructive, deliberate, and professional manner. I have observed that there are a few citizen regulars that feel the need to complain and vent at every community meeting. Many issues are more appropriately handled one-on-one with staff or elected officials with positive and constructive input rather than making public spectacle with no apparent objective other than fulfilling Andy Warhol's assertion that everyone wants to be famous for 15 minutes. I was also concerned by the disrespectful display of a few citizens at last month's meeting who seemingly were participating in a scripted and orchestrated effort to discredit town staff with information that was exaggerated, inaccurate, misleading, and some downright false. Such unprofessional and inappropriate conduct seemed intended for no purpose other than to publicly vilify and demean the reputation of an employee that reports to town council. It would be far more appropriate and productive to address such concerns through the proper chain of command, not in a public forum. Individuals making such unsubstantiated and slanderous assertions, which are actually libelous once posted, not only are placing themselves at grave risk, but also the entire community and its reputation. Let's get smart and start thinking for ourselves. There are many, many citizens in Summerfield, myself included, as well as visionary, results-proven developers who have put their money where their mouth is and who contribute countless hours, energy, and treasure to improving the quality of life in our community. We all have a vested interest in making sure we create and maintain an environment that will optimize our future, consistent with the values and policies as adopted in the 2010 Comprehensive Plan, defining the community vision and objectives. We must now ensure our ordinance, as required by North Carolina General Statutes, conforms to that plan. This is of critical importance, and is why the UDO Review Committee was established last year. Please help us with that process so that we, the developers, and the entire public know the ground rules and are not continuing to work at a moving target. In Lewis Carroll's Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, Alice asked the Cheshire Cat for directions. "I don't care much where I want to go," said Alice. "Then it doesn't matter much way which you walk," said the cat. In other words, any path will get you there if you don't know where you're going. Let's all work together to get past these petty bumps in the road, get on to business, and get to where we want to be going. Thank you.
Julie Davidson.
I'm Julie Davidson, 7711 Summerfield Road. Just a few quick things. I want to thank the past councils and staff through the years for all the beautiful things that have been done in Summerfield. My favorite parks are this park that we're backing up to right now, Summerfield Athletic Park, some of the trails, the town hall. And I want to also thank private citizens that have put money into preserving places, just like the Jinx at Gray Gables. Beautiful, beautiful. Preserving history does take some money. I'm more than proud to offer my less than $40 a year to help preserve parts of Summerfield. I know you can figure out I don't live in an expensive home, and that's okay. I'm very happy where I am, and I'm really close to that old corner. I love it. Anybody you ask, if you say I'm from Summerfield, oh, that right there near the four old buildings, or well, it's now three, but it used to be the four old buildings. I think it's a part of what gives us our character. So I'm going to ask the current council. I'm not saying we have to spend millions of dollars. I've heard so many times. The council wants to spend the town wants to spend $3.7 million. And I don't understand that. Nobody in this room approved that or said, I like that idea. So I wish people would quit throwing that number around. But I would think we could come together again as we did with the town hall. Use the resources we have. Preserve the buildings that are marked as historic places. Not let them fall down. They may not be beautiful, but again, they could be usable. I'd like for us to work together to feel like a community. I want to feel like people are attending because we have positive things to say, not because we want to fuss with each other. I would also ask that, I know that the town does not support all of the online sites that have the name Summerfield in them, but I think people need to be a little more respectful there also. Don't say something online that you wouldn't say to someone's face. I have, people who feel like they can't look me in the face because they said something nasty online. It's ridiculous. So I'm just asking that we work together. Thank you for listening, and thank you guys for what you do.
Everybody's clapping, I wasn't sure who you said. I'm Linda Southern. I've lived here all my life. I'm chair of the Summerfield Historical Committee, and I love what we're doing here in Summerfield. And Mayor Dunham had asked me if the Historical Committee would make some recommendations for use of the Gordon Building and the Martin House. So on the February 22nd Historical Meeting, this subject was brought up, and we discussed it, and here's some of the recommendations that we made, and she has seen this, and she knows. While the suggested plans for the Gordon Building are very attractive, the estimated cost of $3 million is not possible. And we don't want to spend that much on that. We just need to renovate these so that they're safe and usable, and to keep, I want the city to keep the floor plan that they have, and not spread them out, not add to them or anything, because I think that would take away the historical value if we did that. The committee expressed our feeling that both of these buildings, the Martin House and Gordon Building, are very important to the history of Summerfield. And the committee suggests that both be renovated to the extent where they're safe and convenient to use without altering the footprint. Some suggested uses could include meeting space for town committees, town council, and other functions that the town has approved of. Additional office space, I mean, we're running out of office space, and we'll be needing more of that as time progresses. Museum space for artifacts important to the history of Summerfield. Our committee has saved lots of things that people have given to us, and we have nowhere to put them. There's just nowhere, and so we're hoping to have a museum space, and we have talked about that this time too, about our museum space here in Summerfield. We're concerned about extended delays in renovating the buildings because even more damage might come to them if we don't go ahead and start saving these important landmarks. We suggest that all buildings and property owned by the town of Summerfield be retained by the town as important and irreplaceable historical landmarks. And we just, if you have any questions, feel free to call out the meeting. We'd be glad to talk to anyone. You all have told us some wonderful ideas, and we would like to hear those too. Thank you so much.
Kelly, okay?
My name is Kelly O'Day, 7013 Mustang Court. I'm here to talk about, just caught off guard on the order here. I'm here to talk about the Founder's Day. We had a meeting today for the town of Summerfield, and I wanted to kind of let people know where we are. I'm really happy to hear some of the positive discussion on encouraging the town council and residents and elected officials to work together. I think that's really important, so I'll segue back. Really want to thank you, Scott Whitaker, for your efforts in bringing fun, positive activities and events for our town, including Founder's Day. And we are an incorporated town, so we have a lot of assets and nice things about our town that has been overlooked these past few months. So I want to encourage people to come out, talk to the town staff about volunteering for Founder's Day. We only have 4 sponsors. I've lived here 7 years, and I've never had a problem getting sponsorship for the town. And when we don't have sponsorship for the town, that means the town foots the bill. And people are talking about concern about tax dollars. And we're gonna pay for it, but it's the people of the town that get to appreciate what we have. We have a beautiful park. And coming here, one of the things that I enjoyed most was seeing all the nice people and what they had to offer and their little gifts that they had, whether it's the little go-karts for the Shriners and the parades and the music and just bringing the community together. So I would ask that we put a pause on drama and just reach out to your neighbors and be neighborly. We love Summerfield, right? And we want to bring people together. So there's different means to an end, and there's a nice way to say things. So I just encourage everyone to come out. Hopefully it'll be a nice day, it won't be rainy, and please, we need volunteers from 8 to 11 on that Saturday morning for the parade. And then meet new people. We have a lot of new people moving into the area. I do real estate, and people are kind of hearing what's going on. So I think we need to temper some of the comments. And I really want to go back to what Mrs. Ingram said: praise in public, criticize in private. Right? I mean, that would be really a good way to go, I think. So anyway, I just want to thank you, Town Council, all the new staff. Every town council person, and Gail Dunham, Mayor Gail, thank you for the time that you do offer, because it's a lot of time that you put forth. I know for a fact my husband put 20 hours in 1 week, in addition to his job and family life and so forth. So each of you spend time evaluating things, and it's appreciated. But there's a constructive way to move forward and to find common ground, because we have people that like trails, people that don't like trails. But there's a way to find middle ground. So thank you for your time and effort. Thank you for the staff that puts on effort for the special events, and we're going to look forward to coming to the movie night. Thank you.
Bob Jones.
My name is Bob Jones, and I live at 5704 Snowville Drive. I've lived in Summerfield since 2004 and moved here because I didn't want to live in a noisy city, for the lower taxes, for the higher quality of life, and for the quality schools that we have here. I traveled both domestically and internationally for my work and was not here all the time, but I felt connected and concerned for Summerfield. After all, this is my home. At work, I was accountable for a business that had to deliver sales and profit numbers every quarter. We set plans, targets, and budgets, and then executed so that our goals were reached. I was both responsible and accountable for the success of the business and the hundreds of people that worked for me. There is a difference between being responsible and being accountable. Being accountable means there's a consequence for your actions. You are answerable for them. Responsibility can be shared, accountability cannot. I'd like to see the town council set plans, targets, and budgets so the town of Summerfield can get something done. In my career, I have found that people that set their own goals and deadlines generally meet them. Here are 5 suggestions. The new council members ran on and were elected on the platform of increasing transparency. Why don't you tell us the 3 or 4 things you're going to do and when to increase transparency? Put them on the agenda every month. Report on them and tell us how you're doing versus your target. Number 2, set a budget for the coming year that does not draw down our savings account. Stop spending above our income. If you can't, then raise taxes. If you accept that you are accountable to the voters, I think you'll be able to find ways to reduce spending. Number 3, set a deadline when you will decide about the Gordon Building, the Martin House, and the property along Highway 220. Pick a date to finish it up so we can move on. Pick a date and hold yourselves accountable to make that decision. If you don't have a vision for these properties by now, you probably never will. Pick a date, set a deadline, and get it done. Number 4, set a deadline when you will have the new Unified Development Ordinance passed and adopted for our town. The only town, I can't imagine a more important document than this, and it's a shame that we've wasted so much time and money on this. As far as I know, you have not publicly stated how you plan to finish this up. Will you hire another consultant? Will you use town staff? How much more money do you need to complete this? This development ordinance is begging for proper project management. The UDO's committee work will be done in a few weeks, and its recommendations will be publicly made to the zoning board on May 21st. I happily serve on the UDO committee and expect the town council and staff to step up right now and show us your plan to get this done. Why don't you put it on the agenda next month and tell us exactly how you plan to manage this project? And please don't use a regional water study to delay anything. Set a deadline, number 5, set a deadline when you will tell us the procedure you will adopt to amend the comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan needs updating every 10 years or so anyway, and it's 8 years old now. It can't be that hard. Maybe you can borrow wording from another town's policy that actually works for them. I'll bet it'll work for us too. But don't get started on amending the comprehensive plan until the new development ordinance is fully adopted by the council. Wrapping up now, at the March Town Council meeting, you gave Republic Waste a hard time about their service level after changing trash and recycle pickup routes and dates. One of you said that Republic didn't follow through in the past. It's really disappointing. It's hard to go to bat for y'all. And then you implied that if Republic promised April 18th for the trash and recycling to be picked up on the same day, they would be answerable if they didn't. Republic Waste is a profit-making company, and someone will be held accountable for their poor service, especially if it drags on. They'll have a bad performance review, get moved to another job, or let go. But you are not a profit-making company. You're a council that represents everyone in Summerfield. We're not disappointed, we're embarrassed by the poor service and performance. So set plans with deadlines, targets, and budgets for the big, important things that matter to our town. You are all responsible together and are held accountable by everyone in Summerfield. But you know what? You might even hear applause when you get things done. When that bat hits the ball for an extra base hit. Ready for the pitch?
I feel uncomfortable bringing my back on anybody, so I'm
Well,
going
what
to
we
go
do
get.
is to have you comfortable. We'd love to hear from you. It's nice to
Thank
meet
you.
you. I think I'm meeting you for the first time.
Thank you. I've tried to listen as best I could, and maybe my ears have gotten old as well as everything else. But the thing that came to my mind that I have talked to my husband about is that when you have diverse thinking, even in a household, you have to reason together to come to agreement. What we have here is a lack of agreement. We have done as the rest of the country has done. It's very easy to point your finger at someone and say, they did this, they didn't do that. I didn't vote when I had an opportunity to in our community where it would have counted. And so now I'm sort of backpedaling myself, trying to figure out what can I do? How should I handle this? You've brought up a lot of great things tonight, and I'm sure it's a daunting task to try to bring people into a place of reason. This question came to my mind. How many of you are immigrants to Summerfield? Okay. Some of the largest neighborhoods in Summerfield are immigrants. Be aware that we do not have a cross-section
of those people here tonight. Summerfield is no longer able to function as it did even 5 years ago. We are moving into a place of change. I personally prefer to pray and do less talking between me and you. I highly recommend it.
Priscilla, you would be next if you want to come around. And we have a couple seats here. There's still some seats available.
97503 William Bailey Road. I'm from Elmhurst Estates, and I think we have a lot of residents here. If you guys want to put your hands up. That's all, yes. President, I'm here to talk about the wall tonight. There's been a lot of stuff in social media about the wall that is kind of misinforming the public. We started the wall, the discussions about the wall, probably middle of 2012, okay? And the town was very involved, and I have the minutes so everybody can see. The first time, it was Steve Kingsbury and I that headed the committee for the noise barrier wall. And we first came to the council, we came to a June meeting, and then we came to a July meeting. And at the July meeting, we were very concerned about what the wall was going to look like, because we had no choice, we had to get it. And I'm sure, Dean, you remember you said that you would be our liaison, and you came to, some of them, well, you were at MPL meetings, where you came, and you spoke with us, and you spoke with Mike. And then after that, it really was a discussion for about, I would say about a year, that we went back and forth about the wall. I read on social media where the town wasn't involved, and that's not true. And I got this off of the Summerfield website. I pulled it off yesterday. On September 25th of 2012, we had a special call meeting that was about the wall. In fact, it says right here, it said that it was the Highway 220 widening project. And it says in the minutes, Whitaker reiterated the discussion would be about the noise wall only. And then come January 8th of 2013, the person that was originally supposed to install the wall brought the samples to the council meeting that night. And everybody was able, they stood up, everybody was able to see it. And my question is, an Elmhurst Estate resident, what happened to the wall? The wall that was placed up is nothing like it was supposed to look like. The color's not what it's supposed to look like, the texture's not. There's big cement thing on the bottom that wasn't supposed to be there. And NCDOT had given us a picture of kind of what the wall would look like. In fact, Patty put it in her paper in the one of the December 12th issues, and we were told it was going to look like this. I don't know if anybody saw it or not. Okay, it doesn't look anything like that. We were told we'd be able to pick the color out, but the wall now is failing. It looks horrendous, and I don't understand why you can drive down 40, you can drive all over Greensboro, and some of them have the most beautiful walls, and we have the worst thing. I mean, it's horrible looking at. I can't believe no one has completed it. I mean, maybe because it's so close to the road. But we would like to know as what?
It's too ugly to crawl.
Well, we would just like to know, on social media, I was told that, I don't go on social media, my granddaughter told me, she's 15, I asked to do social media. But I was told the town has nothing to do with this, but we did the first time, and when it went up, nobody said anything. It doesn't look anything like it was supposed to look. It's not the same material. I mean, it really looks awful. In fact, when I have workmen come to my house, I say to them, You know where the real ugly noise barrier wall is on 220? That's my development. And they go, oh yeah, I know where that is. And I would just like the members of council to maybe get with us and NCDOT. That was their idea in the beginning. I know that it took forever to put this wall up. It was supposed to be put up, I want to say in 2013, and it didn't go up to 2017. And by then, I don't know what changed the color and the texture, but it looks really bad. I mean, it's not even a mile from town hall. You know, and all of us that live there, right, we hate it. You know, and not only was the council involved, Alicia Flowers at the time was on the council. She came to our homeowners meeting. She also went to our attorney's office with NCDOT. And so to say that the council wasn't involved, it was. And we would really like you to get involved again, because calling them, they don't even call you back. When the law started and going up, I called to talk to Mike Mills, and then somebody else called me back, and I said, well, what's the deal with this wall? This isn't what it was supposed to look like. He said, be patient. Wait till you see when it's done. I'll see it now. Pretty bad. And we would like the council to give us some help we did before. I mean, I took all of this off the Summerfield minutes, okay? And this is the council being involved, and the town of Summerfield being involved. And so you were involved before, and we're just asking you to be involved again. Okay? All right, thank you.
Anybody else that signed up that wanted to speak about the wall from Elmhurst Estates? Priscilla Coleman?
Get good.
I'm going to follow up with what Karen said. I'm not here to point fingers. I'm not here to place blame. I'm here to ask you to help us with the opportunity to really make an eyesore in Summerfield, potentially look a lot better for everyone. I don't live in Elmhurst. I do have some friends that live in Elmhurst. But it is bad. It's really bad. It's ugly. It's kind of the laughing stock of the community. I think a lot of people say that the wall and the food line are two of the worst assets that we have in town. So I do think that with the new wall, I think there's a lot of good opportunity to either get something better or change the color or maybe redesign it a little bit so that it's not so tall and jagged. So I took it upon myself to make a photo here. Todd, I think, did some research, which we appreciate, called DOT, and checked on it for us. I know there was some talk about a pretty kind of stacked stone looking wall that was made out of concrete, but apparently that's too big or thick or heavy. So that wasn't an option. So we have this Carsonite board, these panels, we're going to be a 12-inch panel. So if that's the only option, which I hope it's not, but if that's the only option, I think